What's up YouTube, RetroBro here, and as spoken in my previous 2K16 news video, this review is going to be about my career. So it's going to be about all the new features in it, which is Spike Lee's story, how they added the 2K TV to it, and a bunch of the other features they have to it, such as not just the endorsements, but interacting with fans, the practice modes, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and start talking about the high school arc a little bit. So, one thing I want to get out of the way real quick with the story is, yes, it appeals more to the black community, but it's a Spike Lee joint, and we know how Spike Lee does his movies, so that's really no surprise. So, as you can see here, the girl that's on the screen is actually your twin sister, and the guy that's on your screen is actually your boy. And they actually help bring the plot together a lot as far as character development for your character, as well as having somewhat of their own backstories. Now, what I thought was really good about the high school arc was you really got that authenticity of what high school was. In the background of the game, you hear announcements from the principal about different things that's going on throughout the school. You're like genetically gifted, so you're a lot taller than all the other centers. And as far as the gameplay goes, in this arc, it's extremely easy because you're a great deal taller than all of the other centers, so even if you weren't that good, they really couldn't contest you. Now, one of the things you actually see on screen here is you have college recruiters actually trying to recruit you to their college to play for their team. Now, you actually get a choice of what college you want to go to after the high school arc, after you do those 3 games. So, it's pretty cool to actually hear what they got to say and try to choose which team you actually want to go to. So, what else made this story fun? Well, I would say that there was drama, and yes, more drama. There was so much drama in this game that I actually felt like I was watching the basketball version of BET's The Game. But you know what? I loved it. So another breath of fresh air that they added to the game is the player reel. In the player reel, you actually get a bunch of different things about the same player as well as multiple different players. You'll get usually first the bio about the player, so you get to know them a little well. Then you'll get to hear a little bit about their personal life as well as how they do what they do on the court and what makes them so good about it. So I thought that was a really cool thing because it's actually in the actual NBA games, so it makes it more authentic feel within the game. They also added the post-game and the pre-game show. Now, the post-game show, they usually tell why the player was the player of the game and what made them so efficient, as well as showing the reel to it. And in the pre-game show, they'll say who the best player actually is on the team you're facing or the team you're on, and show a reel of what makes that player so good. So it actually feels like you're watching a real NBA game, even though you're playing it.
Shooting. Okay. First one is kind of where you position the ball in your hand. I kind of don't let the ball sit in my palm.
So, NBA TV is actually added to My Career mode, which is something that wasn't added to 2K15. Like, NBA 2K TV actually existed, but it wasn't part of My Career mode. So since it was part of My Career mode, I actually took time to look at it, which is something I didn't do in the previous game. Then actually, after looking at it, I took time to look at it in the previous game, and it's a big step up in this game. So for those of you that don't know, NBA 2K TV is actually something where in the older games, you would normally see more of the game developers getting in touch with the community, so they would put highlight reels of the best plays, really good Twitch and YouTube streams on it to kind of get exposure of people getting to know these really good players, which is cool and all, but what they did with it now is actually a lot better. As you saw in the previous clip that I showed a few seconds ago, they actually have real NBA players now, and the real NBA players actually talk a little bit about their game, like you saw with Stephen Curry, where he was talking about how he actually shoots a bit, which is really cool because you can learn a lot about how to actually shoot as a real basketball player now, not just stuff in the game. But they also go over stuff in the game too, which I think is really important in this game, especially since this game has completely different game mechanics than a lot of the other 2K games. So this is a good way to kind of just enjoy watching some of what was made in the game, as well as learning the new mechanics since they're completely different. Also, they have like little fun things in between, like they'll add little basketball trivia like you see here, and when you answer it, they're not going to tell you the right answer, but they'll show you the percentage of what a lot of other people guessed based on the question too. So 2K16 TV is not just little things to do, little fun trivia, learning about the new game and the new mechanics, and learning about actual real basketball mechanics from professional players, but they also have a feedback system. This feedback system actually randomly asks questions while you're watching 2K TV about the game, and you can answer it, and when you do answer it, it takes that feedback and they actually put it into a system where they take everybody else's, average it out, and then try to use those to fix things within the community, which I actually think is pretty cool. And for those of you that say, well, hey, I can just go to the forums, this is the official system they really want to use to get this done this year. So not saying you can't use the forums, but this is more the system they want to use, and you also get rewarded for using this system too. So if you take the time to do the little survey that's in between the NBA 2K TV while you're watching everything, they'll actually give you VC points too that you can use for clothes, leveling up, and all that good stuff. So it's actually a really decent trade-off in my opinion. So let's kick off gameplay with the new feature they added, player analysis. Now if you play previous 2Ks, you know that they'll give you the character that you're supposed to be matched against based on the position you're playing, and that's pretty much it. But now they actually give a full analysis on the player. You get to know their strengths and what you should do to counter it, as well as their weaknesses and what you should do to counter it. Each player has different strengths and different weaknesses no matter what position. So just because you're playing a center does not mean that the other center is going to have the same skill set. So it makes the game feel more authentic in the fact that every character is truly different and unique. So this game actually looks a lot better. There's more detail on the players' faces. You actually hear verbal communication from your teammates when you're on the court. There's trash talk when you score or if you get called by the ref on any play call. And then the mechanics of the actual game are better too. Like ball physics are a lot sharper. It's not super floaty anymore. So regular passes are really tight now. You don't have to just spam bounce pass all the time like previous games. As well as the fact that shooting is unpredictable in the nature that sometimes the ball looks like it's going to go in and it comes out. Or sometimes it looks like it should have bounced out and it goes in. So it makes it harder to predict on rebounds, which makes it closer to the basketball feel in my opinion. Also, everything is its own button, such as lobbing the ball. Post up is its own button now, which makes the game a lot better. Now, I know from the center's point of view, making the post up one button was a little confusing at first because, you know, previous games were never like that. But what makes it good is I noticed that it made the animation times quicker so it doesn't lag. So I can post you up and then I can decide to pass if I wanted to, or I can post you up and then decide, hey, I'm not getting too far with the post, so then I'm going to just try to cross you and get past you, or I can post and take you to the hole. So by having to hold the post button down, quickly releasing it allows you to drop out of the animation quickly and then make fast decisions you want. So it's actually really tactical when you get used to it. And you can do all kinds of things like fake and trip people up. Also, they added the replay cam that can test shots and stuff that we're unsure of at the buzzer, so that's really cool too. Finally, this game has balance. The community has been heard. You specialize in your specific role and you're not really good at the others too much anymore. Like for a center, for example, you can't go higher than 50 with ball control, you're slower, and you don't have as much stamina. So it's really good to see that everything is role specific now to give you more of an authentic NBA experience. Another thing they added to this game is that you can actually hang out with your teammates, and what that does is it builds chemistry so that you play better together on the court. You can also spend time with fans, which helps get you more fans, and that actually helps you get more endorsements and stuff to make more money. And then they have live practice where you do multiple different practice drills, and these drills help you get not only more VC but a temporary boost in your next game. So with the combination of all this happening now, it's actually a lot easier to level up now because there's a lot more to do to improve on your game. So it's not as much of a grind as it was previous game, even though it still is hard work. Now it's time to talk about what I didn't like about the game. So let's go ahead and cue that sad music. First off, customer service for this game was terrible. It was not handled very well, and they didn't give people what they promised. Now, for those of you that are unaware, there's 2 editions of this game. You can pre-order the standard edition, and you can pre-order the Michael Jordan edition. Either way, if you pre-order, you get some type of perk, opposed to just getting it later. But neither party got any of the promises. So you were supposed to get like a little VC for 2K15, which like everyone got, and then some VC for 2K16. So a lot of us thought, cool, we want the game, why don't we go ahead and pre-order it so we can get it like a little bit early, and then you know, you could use those points to go ahead and get new outfits and stuff, and then just focus on playing through story mode to actually level up your character. And none of us got it. You can also see there's a bunch of other complaints here on Twitter where people have been contacting the staff, and they're pretty much telling them, well, we have no idea of how we're going to fix it right now, and there's nothing we can do, which is unacceptable. Because keep in mind, this is a AAA game that's 60 to 70 bucks, and even if it's a year to 2 years later, the price isn't going to drop on it like a lot of other games do. So it being a AAA game and the price not dropping, this is unacceptable. You can also see where a lot of people complained about the game over on the 2K staff, and I realized that proper optimization wasn't just with PC, but apparently consoles are having the same problem as well. And these are things that definitely should have been. So the second issue that I have in this game is glitches. There's glitches everywhere in this game. And one of the biggest glitches I actually had was in my career. It was within the live training. There's this one training session I actually tried to do where you do like this little speed training, and it froze up on me to where I had to exit the game. And then after that, I saw the section, but I could never go to it and open it again. Just terrible. So, what's my final verdict on this game? I would say don't buy this game right now. The game is a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it, but keep in mind, if you're someone that likes to play online, like in the My Park and stuff, that's currently not working right now. Also, with all the bugs and glitches and stuff, there's a chance that you may not even be able to play it. Like you saw in the last couple of scenes I showed you, there's a lot of people on console having a hard time currently even trying to download this game. Also, I have a really high-end PC, and you saw the problems I'm currently having. So I could only assume if you're playing this on PC and you have a lower grade one, you're probably going to have more issues. Also, with the customer service and how it's being handled with this game, it's just terrible. So I feel like give it a couple of months, give it time for them to make patches and stuff and actually fix it, and then get this game. Also, a lot of people complaining about this game isn't really going to make them fix the game per se until we show the action with our money. So I think if everyone kind of holds off and not purchases it right now and actually wait until they fix things right and then start buying it, they'll fix it. But if everyone's complaining but still buying the product, they're not really going to have incentive to fix it. So I would say hold off a couple of months on this game until they fix it. Like the video? Well, why don't you check out RonnRetrobro.com, where I showcase my favorite YouTubers, videos from subscribers like yourself, the latest in news. You can listen to the music I'm bumping, and I post my blog, stories, and news entries here. It's a place for us gamers to kind of get to know each other more and kind of let smaller YouTubers like us get better noticed.